So, I hope you're having a good day, a peaceful day, a prosperous and healthy day, wherever you happen to be. And I would be most remiss if I didn't cover this particular topic, as unfortunate as it is to have to discuss things like war. The reality is I'm spending a lot of time in a place where that's a reality, right? Rockets and drone attacks and missiles and all kinds of crazy things. So obviously, I think about the war that people are living through all around me, including myself, but everyone else too. And I think about the people who are living through it on the other side too, or on the other sides in places like Gaza and in Lebanon, as well as here in Israel, right? And it is a most unfortunate thing that has happened over the course of the past year, that yet again another dumb and unnecessary war has been raging here in the Middle East, or the Muddled East, for as long as it has, right? And why? Well, for the same reasons that it always has been, right? It's not just about blood and treasure here, right? It's really not about blood and treasure, which is the case of most wars in most places. But here in the Middle East, specifically when it comes to Israel and the terrorists that attack it, who are nothing more than minions and puppets of Iran, it's an ideological warfare. And the unfortunate thing about that is those can take root in a way that can be harder to undo after they are ended by usually great violence. Well, terrible violence, but a tremendous amount of terrible violence. And yes, it still can be undone, but that typically takes place only after tremendous violence. And we've seen examples of it, in history gone by, including World War II and many, many, many other examples. Practically every example that involves ideological warfare. And the current state of affairs here is obviously that in the last 24 hours, Israel announced that it had confirmed that its soldiers in the IDF have ended the reign of terror of Hamas's top terrorist and its political leader, Yahya SinWAR, who will now forever be known as Yahya SinWAS. In Hebrew, Yahya SinWAR the pun is made as Haya SinWAR, which means was SinWAR. And yes, I don't mean to poke fun or laugh or celebrate the death of anyone. On the other hand, when somebody does in fact bear the responsibility for the deaths of many, many thousands of people, the injury of many, many, many thousands more people, and the rape, torture, brutalization, and kidnapping of many people as well, I'm not going to quote you the Bible verse, because from my point of view, I don't have to. It's a morality thing, and I don't need any particular book to tell me what is moral and what is not. Since morality is to some degree, subjective, right? Everybody kind of has their own morality. Whether that's right or wrong is a different story. And it should not be rocket science to appreciate the fact that the world is a better place when one person stops being a violent, ideological, extremist terrorist bent on literally annihilating another people, even at the expense of his own people. Even if that means losing tens of thousands of people, even if that means laying waste to an entire region that was his home, and that could have been his homeland in the sense of a nation, had he only bothered to invest the money that he was being given as aid into building schools, hospitals, homes, better markets, better businesses, to build an economic powerhouse or wonderland on the west coast of the Middle East, alongside Israel, on the eastern shores of the Mediterranean Sea. But no, he chose, along with his other cohorts leading Hamas, an Iranian and Qatari-backed terrorist organization, he chose and they chose to lead the world in underground tunnel digging for terrorists. And Hezbollah, turns out, has even more such tunnels. So Hamas didn't even lead the world in that. They just came up short. But in terms of packing in terror tunnels per square mile in such a densely populated area, not that it's the most densely populated area on Earth by any means, but in a relatively densely populated area, yeah, they were doing a quite a notable job in that respect. And so, yeah, Yahya SinWAR is now Yahya SinWAS. And hopefully, Hamas will see this as an opportunity to lay down their arms and return the hostages, as I've literally been saying from the very beginning. And this stupid war can end. And then, in theory, Hezbollah has said that it will stop fighting once the fighting between Israel and Hamas ends. And let's see if that happens. I don't believe it will. And also, I don't believe that at this point Israel will stop pursuing Hezbollah assets south of the Litani River, because we've seen what has happened for the past year and what the IDF has discovered in recent weeks while going into Lebanon and taking out a lot of the assets that they've found, blowing up rocket launchers and rockets, and discovering many still packaged brand new high-tech Russian weapons that were given to Hezbollah. So this war, unfortunately, seems to be not over anytime soon. And I sure do wish it was. I wish it would end right now. But Israel has a lot of cleaning up to do in this neighborhood, because other countries that swore that they would help, and groups that said that they would help, like UNIFIL, have utterly failed to do so. So hopefully this war ends really soon, and Israel can rebuild its own economy and have all the hostages home, and all of its neighbors can start to rebuild in peace and prosperity alongside Israel. Am I hopeful that that will happen right away? Unfortunately, no. But do I think it will happen eventually? I'm an optimist, so yeah, you kind of have to be an optimist to live in this neck of the woods. And yeah, I think it will eventually happen. So to all of you, I bid you peace and a good day. Cheers.